I went to bed at about 9 and then tossed and turned, decided to come back out here. I worked for a couple of hours till a little before midnight and decided that I had to redo pretty much everything I had done yesterday. Not everything, but a good bit.
What's the problem?
Well, okay, the problem is my compulsion to do faces. I did this face too soon. The face of the adolescent boy. And it was on the wrong plane. It was on a plane that was too far back, and it didn't work with the figure of the child and the figure of Christ. Plus, I think his head was too big in relation to the rest of the reliefs. So, today I'm trying to repair the damage I did yesterday. But my husband told me, just go out there and have fun. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just not going to obsess over the mistakes of yesterday, but just have fun. So I'm going to use my new tool today, my heat gun, and hopefully accelerate the removal of some of this clay that needs to come off.
I think your cat wants to get married to this heater. So, Mrs. Luke, what's
Yes.
new?
What's new? The little boy is new. The adolescent boy here, just to the right of the baby. I was struggling. He kept looking like an adult in the face. And then I realized I had to make his nose a good deal smaller. And the lines around his eyes and cheekbone were too prominent. And when I softened them up by adding clay into the recessed areas, I took several years off his life, like maybe 30.
Can I do that to my face?
Oh, if only we could all do that to our faces. Okay, wouldn't that be something?
So what you going to try to accomplish for the rest of the week?
What am I going to try to accomplish? I still haven't worked on Molly. Molly's rough. I'm going to continue roughing in the boy. And just basically build out these contours so that maybe by the end of the week I will have enough done so that next week I could do some texturing. I played with the tool this morning and had a lot of fun putting that water line underneath the alligator. My heat gun, thanks to Barry Luke, facilitator, is an excellent tool and very, very fast in softening the clay.
So no more hair dryer, huh?
So yeah, I've given up the hair dryer. The heat gun is the way to go.
Alrighty.
So.
Bye. On the air.
Okay, good morning. It's Thursday, December 13th, I believe. And I had a milestone yesterday. Had a big challenge in this area here from a compositional standpoint. And I seem to have resolved it. I changed the tilt of the little adolescent boy's head. And he's leaning now into Christ. He's holding onto his arm, which is the arm of Christ is holding this baby. And I think it fits beautifully with the rest of the panel. So that was major progress yesterday. Now I'm just bulking in the figure of the boy. And after that, I'm going to start working on the little 5-year-old girl, Molly. And
Some people might be wondering why in an obviously religious-based relief we have alligators and pelicans and frogs and turtles and crawfish.
well, the desire of the hospital was to suggest the Louisiana environments in the hospital itself. And the first floor of the hospital, the theme was the river. So having spent many, many hours kayaking and boating on Louisiana rivers, I immediately pictured, or the picture presented itself to me, perhaps, the figure of St. Francis in a pirogue. St. Francis, of course, is known for his love of nature. He wrote the Canticle of the Sun while he was recovering from an illness in San Damiano, and the environment just seemed conducive to, that is, the desires of the hospital seemed to coincide with the Franciscan image of harmony with nature. And I thought, what a beautiful image this would be in a children's hospital, kind of a whimsical image of St. Francis in a pirogue in our environment, surrounded by all the animals associated with Louisiana, the pelican, of course. And of course the pelican is, in religious art, is symbolic of Christ, because legend has it that the pelican pierced its breast and fed its young with its own blood, hence the association with Jesus. So that's kind of how this came about, and it wasn't all my idea. My first idea was just Francis in a pirogue, a much simpler idea. And after consultation with the members of the team on the hospital in charge of this work, it grew. The imagery grew to include an adult Christ with 3 different ages of children surrounding him for the central panel. And then the final edition, I had an angel up in the top of this cypress tree over here, but I had an inspiration right before our last meeting, and I thought, why not put Mary at the top of the tree of life? Because in Renaissance, I don't know if I've repeated this before, said this before, but in Renaissance and late medieval sacred imagery, Mary is often pictured at the top of the tree of life. And so this cypress tree can be symbolic of the tree of life, where Mary is seated at its top.